Well, Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Saturday, what a day. Sunday, I'll groove with you. Hi, everybody. Oh, my hair's all over the place. I actually did try to spruce up today a little bit on Sunday. Guess what I found? I found Annalise. I went through all of the boxes because I was so disappointed that I didn't keep to the schedule. So let's just say we're starting over. So before I start reading Annalise Micheal and go over, this is actually part 7, go over where you can find this. First of all, this reading, I'm conducting live right now at Lasha Rodchenko 6907, and I'm also uploading it onto Royal Pushback and Aftermath, and then it'll be under videos. If you go to L Soul Sisters and Royal Pushback and Aftermath, the only difference between those two channels is at LISA ROJENKO 7331 is the original channel I started with L Soul Sisters, and there's 215 souls there. Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed the content. Also, the channel that I wanted to do with Royal Pushback and Aftermath, I wanted to combine the two channels because there are 45 souls on that channel, and it's 73318. So I think in a couple of weeks I can change that. All of my videos used to upload onto L Soul Sisters, and then I got I didn't get it. I guess it was time for me to upgrade the phone, and so I got a very, very generous plan for a new phone because I did need one. So I just wanted to say that about the channels. That's why I keep going on about it. So this will be on the live. I'll be uploading this. It'll be under videos, under Royal Pushback and Aftermath. And then go to L Soul Sisters and I copy the link and I put it on the community channel, which brings me to this. When you subscribe, hit like, comment, would you mind hitting the L Soul Sisters or this channel, whatever you choose? All I know is that I don't look at the numbers. I only look at them now once a month. But I cheated because I looked from last week. And based on the number of views that have come through this platform, which is really kind of cool. I know that Google makes lots of money, etc., but it is nice to have this platform to express yourself. I find it very therapeutic. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the news. The reason I started and thought of Royal Pushback and Aftermath is because the news cycle goes by so fast nowadays, you can't keep up with it. Every time I turn on my favorite channels, and I'll tell you what they are right now: Sean Atwood, Andrew Gold, TNT, The Royal Grift, Fly on a Wall, brand new channel. She's had it up for 2 months and she already has thousands and thousands of people because her videos are just so good. She's excellent at splicing and slicing research, so good at it. So talented and really young. Brittany from the Royal News Network. there's so many more. A Popcorn Pet Planet, Popcorn Palace, Paula M, Pina, or I always call her P Dinah. Really good royal channels. But the reason I wanted to slow down a bit and revisit a little bit about Harry and Meghan and why talk about them. Everybody talks about them. What's the fascination? They're now infamous, not famous, like Roger Stone. And people get bored of that after a while. I did a reading on Prince Harry, and I posted already the cards, which is on Royal Pushback and Aftermath. And I simply asked the question, what is going through Prince Harry's mind right now, and what is in store for him in 2023? Every time I have read this man's cards, he gets the same ones, and they're never positive, but I have a little twist at the end. So people say that so you can watch the whole video, but if you don't want to, just go to the end of the line, and I'll be talking about Harry at the very end. And bringing up some points about Oprah Winfrey. Have you ever... Okay, we can't ever forget leaving Neverland. We can't forget leaving Neverland. I repeat, we can't forget leaving Neverland. No, no, no. Because MJ, in my opinion, was as sick he was sick. And that's all I have to say. And I'm sorry that I'm saying this, because you never know if family members watch this. You have to be careful what you say. And not because I'm woke, because I have manners. We all have manners. And we all have a voice. But it's just learning how to use that voice. Women already have a voice. We just need to learn how to use it. What does that even mean? I have a voice, but I need to learn how to use it. Are you talking about operatic singing? Are you talking about public speaking? Why are you bringing up Me Too? You volunteered on the yachts. You knew Andrew. Why did you, Meghan, make it a point of saying, well, my name is Hattie, and, she didn't know who Granny was. No, 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 dear. She thought it was Granny's special secretary. Yes. Cherry Denise is reading The Traitor King, which, by the way, I'm getting off track, but if you read Spare or listen to Cherry Denise read Spare, but she not just reads the book, she breaks it down, and it's story time, and she's flippin' amazing. Now, she even thought that Meghan wrote that book, because there were things in that book that just didn't make sense. And then she read the entirety of Tom Bower's book. It was the only channel I typed in Meghan Markle psychology, and Denise's channel came up, Cherry Denise. And she's a literature genius with high moral ethics and standards. So, yeah. And also at the beginning of that Netflix series, do you know I was fooled by them in that engagement video? But I couldn't believe it when Harry said, I love this woman so much, and I hope she loves me the same. And she didn't say anything. No, no, Harry, no, not right now, no. We have to protect everybody's privacy. That's mean to mimic somebody's behavior like that. But her behavior and why Harry and Meghan matter is because Canada, when you bid, the conglomerates, these industrial complex operational machines, and most charities, people use it for write-offs. And you all know why I'm trying to do this, right? If I ever monetize on this YouTube channel, I'm posting the Excel sheet and every little, however it comes in the mail or in a bank account or whatever, and I'm putting it out there, and you will see where it's going. And it's a lot of work to set up a charity, but you start from the grassroots, from the feet up. Just for instance, maybe asking a few musicians I know to put together a music show people can come, to bring awareness that surgeons need to keep their oath. If they knowingly do not say anything, it's a crime. My option was have surgery or be in a body cast for a year, but it'd be torture. And obviously you opt for the surgery, but then you're held responsible because you opted for the surgery. Well, I'm sorry, but when you're sitting in a hospital and you just went under a huge fentanyl dose, which I don't know how people get addicted to that. I don't understand it. I didn't even know what they put on my arm, and couldn't sleep. And every time, this was after the operation, every time I would fall asleep, the nurse would come in and go, Lisa, Lisa, or Lisa, Lisa. It's like, oh my gosh, I just fell asleep. I can't even get onto that topic. All right. So the news goes so fast. Royal push and aftermath is to get down to the truth. And the Traitor King and Harry and Meghan are just like Wallace Simpson and David, who advocated the throne, wherein Queen Elizabeth's late father, King George Arthur III, passed away at 52. And she was a young girl sitting across from Winston Churchill at 16 years old. Could you imagine? And it's not even been a year since she passed, and it just seems like things are just going too quickly, and everybody puts things up on YouTube to keep up. And that's why people are successful. However, I decided I'm going to chill. It's not about putting up a lot of content, it's about the quality of it. And so what you're watching me do is navigate my way through YouTube, find my niche so I can get my message across in terms of oaths and doctors. And I was going to use the example of this. If a police officer in Canada was standing at the milking store or the milking things, and a guy ran out and he stole something, and the owner came out and said, stop him. And the cop says, freeze, stop, you just stole. And to stop the guy because the cop was too heavy, I'm generalizing because they're usually not, they're usually really good looking, and they shoot the guy in the leg, but it was a misunderstanding and he didn't do anything wrong. Who do you think the government would hold that responsible to? The guy who got shot or the cop who shot him? I'm probably guessing the cop who shot him. So I'm looking for young lawyers with lots of oompha and zoompa. And I was thinking of maybe What if I got a proposal together and I went to different universities where people are studying to become lawyers, because those are the people that can make a difference, depending on what kind of law you go into, making a difference in changing laws or adding something new to legislation. So for example, if I worked at a pharmacy, I'm just keeping this in the healthcare profession, or people that you're supposed to trust. Who do people trust the most? Doctors. Not anymore. And let me say one thing perfectly clearly. I have absolute respect, admiration for doctors. Do you know how much schooling, dedication it takes, and how hard they work to help people? The only problem with doctors is when they get that God complex. But I mean, if you think of being a surgeon, you're probably not a light and fluffy type person. Who the hell knows? I find surgery fascinating. And I'm about as oversensitive as they come, but oh, no more. All right, even the Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard trial, a year and a half later, I put up a video. It's on the live channel, this channel. It's also on L&L Soul Sisters under community page, in reference to Amber Heard's defense, how bad it was, and what questions and opportunities they missed out that could have helped her case, potentially. But I'm not a lawyer. Oh, the lawyer, the quiet little mouse. You still don't know what movie that's from? Oh, for shame. Also, the aftermath. Let's talk about HBO's NXIVM. What do Keith Raniere and Meghan Markle have in common? They're dead behind the eyes. I always remember when I watched HBO The Vow with Sarah Edmonston and Mike Vicente and blah, blah, blah. Nancy Salzman, Lauren Salzman wasn't in it. Some of the other survivors. And those cults can be very, very isolating. And there's a difference between a cult and a culture. I'm not talking about a culture. I'm talking about culture as in our ethnic backgrounds, or culture in the environment in which we work every day. It molds us. When Meghan Markle was in the Fab Four and she was talking about Me Too, and she said I thought it was just topical. Well, that's exactly, she told us who she was the whole way through that docuseries from the beginning, when she said, well, here's the thing, you don't Google anybody. I mean, that's your homework. You go through Instagram and you look at what they're putting out into the world, not what people are saying about them. And then Silvertree, Meghan is such a simple actress. No, she's not simple. We all have varying degrees and skills, and I am not knocking her because I was never on Suits. I didn't marry a rich man and I've gone too far. And that's why I tell Harry, if Meghan doesn't want ya, I'll take ya, because she molded him. He was so malleable and so hurt, and along with the Elizabeth Arden cream and meeting him and mocking him and his family. No. And it had nothing to do with race. And people forget, and this is why I'm talking about royal pushback, people forget how loved she was at the beginning. I didn't even know what was going on until she came and she was on that Oprah interview. And she's sitting there, and Oprah said, "Well, hello, Megan. Hi. Now, I spoke to you before about doing an interview, and you said it wasn't the time. What makes the time right now?" And she went, "Mm-hmm." Like, you know when like when they're in trouble or they're just being mischievous. It was like when Harry came out to announce the birth of the child, and he was standing in between two horses, and he was like this. Now, when you think of body language, it's really not difficult to figure out. Just practice the body language and how do you feel when you do it. So when you go like this, and that's what he did. That's like a little child holding a secret. That's why I say he has arrested development, and she destroyed him and fed off him like a parasite. Seriously. Keith Raniere, the HBO special. I want to know what happened to those people, and not Oprah Winfrey. Where are they now? No, 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 no. What has so-and-so been up to? And I want to hear how they're building their lives. And it does matter. Now, this has nothing to do with Megan. We all know we have voices, Megan. It's about choosing what you use your voice for, not learning how to use your voice. You have to have, geez, Murphy. So, do you remember Keith Raniere saying, "If anybody could see the man behind me"? Well, the reason that Mark Vicende had to keep taking pictures and pictures and pictures, and Keith always saying, "Nobody really knows the man." He was telling us, "You don't know who I am." And that's because there's nothing there, because he was a narcissistic sociopath, which means he was patient. I do not know how he got 10 women in a harem, because he is so, or was so off-putting when you first see him. And I remember his commercial from the man from Green Gables. Oh my goodness, I think it was. And he was talking about his business. Oh, what was it called? Oh, I can't even remember. And then Meghan Markle. Everybody's putting things out about our story. Doesn't it make sense for everybody to hear the story from us? Like, duh. That's the way she was looking at people. Like, duh. So that's my little rant. Oh, and your voice, if you have something to say, it works. If you go online, type in The Frank Report, April the 11th of 2023. Nikki Klein finally left the Dossier Project and that website. And her body language and her words were not congruent on that HBO special. Like, for example, she was crying and she said, "I wish those people, Keith knew what, I wish people knew what he was like, because I'm really proud of my decisions." And she's crying. Now, I'm not an actress, so I'm not making fun of anybody. But the body language and the words weren't congruent. She didn't say anything. Sometimes it's not what people say, it's what they don't say. And, you know, I'll tell you, life is a highway. I don't always want to go on it all night long. Okay, Annalise. So the last we picked off with Annalise Micheal, we were talking about Joseph the father, Anna the mother, their background living in, it was Bulgaria, and the reason I believe that she could have been demonically possessed is because this was only 6 or 7 years after World War II when she was born. So there's a lot of evil energy. It doesn't go away. The only way I can explain energy is explaining Chernobyl. Look what happened in Chernobyl, and the uranium and the like the plant blew up, and the rise in cancer that people had from exposure. My father used to go to Ukraine all the time and talk about how much the food tasted better and so on, and I was always worried about him getting cancer from eating food from there. And I know it sounds silly, but that's really, yeah, that's what I think. That's what I think. It's about energy, you know? And I think, yeah, it was a nuclear power plant. And and did you watch Chernobyl on HBO? That's another good one. Another good one. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, the tarot card reads. When you join here, you get free tarot card reads for the rest of your life because I'm very good at it. I take the time for people. I listen. But I will never say, this is what's going to happen. I simply explain what the cards mean. And I've done 4 readings for so far out of almost 300 people. So my retention is there's about 32 people that regularly come back to watch. And I appreciate every 32 of you that do, and the comments mean the most. So if you've never been to this channel before, take a chance on me. Okay? So, Annalise, and it's also kind of the royal family. I want to talk about something. You know, the royal family, I remember watching this documentary about the royal family. This gal was talking about how the royals that are closest to the sun, as Brittany would say, the other people, the cousins and so on, the dukes, the earls, the countesses and the counts, etc., 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 you know, they're the thread of the aristocrats, and they're a tight group, and they trust each other, which is not much different than the way Annalise was raised in terms of Catholicism. She was a pious girl. She never had a boyfriend. She never experienced intimacy in her life. Her father and mother, you know, lived through the war, worked as farmers and carpenters. And back in those days, you had choices of being a nun. Annalise went to school, you know, and that was a big choice for her to take back then. She didn't do well the first year. She had one of those attacks. And if you just have to go back and you'll understand what I'm talking about. So I highly suggest to go back and watch the videos in reference to the book so you know where we're at, if you just happen to come in now. So that's why I'm just doing a little recap. So she had kind of like an epileptic attack in the summer of, I think it was 68. Then she took a year off school because she wasn't well. Then she went back to school same time, same year, almost to the date, and she had the same type of what we would call a night terror. But what was different about these night terrors, she would wake up with bruises. She was alone. Her tongue would be sore in the morning. She'd almost feel like she had rigor mortis. And I don't know if that actually happens in epilepsy. During the book and when we get to the court part, that's where it becomes really fascinating. Now, you also have to remember that even though she was being treated by doctors, she really felt that the medication was making her worse. But she did try it for a long period of time, but nothing went away. The olfactory, which can be like schizophrenia of the nose, believe it or not. And also, she wouldn't eat. She wouldn't eat, which begs me to wonder, was she anorexic? I shared with you my story about my experience with anorexia because of that YouTuber Eugenie. But I don't know. So let's just keep going on here. Let's go through some more facts about Annalise and what she was good at, okay? Oh, and she also was so altruistic and so empathic. She always used to bring every stray home. Apparently they had 20 cats in their house at one point. She sounded like a very sweet, sweet, sweet young woman. And how scary would that have been? Really? But this time she wasn't really superstitious at that point. So before we get into that, let's just some facts about Annalise. Annalise played the accordion, and as was expected of girls from well-off families, she took piano lessons. Now, well-off families, Annalise's mother Anna and Joseph weren't, but when their little town village weren't farming, it started becoming more industrial. They were middle class and well off, okay? It was hard going into the new school for a while, but eventually she caught on, even in Latin. Annus horribilis. I'm sure that Annalise had a worse year than the Queen during that, except for Diana passing away. That's an annus horribilis. Terrible, terrible, terrible. It's like Meghan gouged out a part of the map and took Harry with her. That's why I say, Harry, if she doesn't want you, come to Canada and fight the good fight with me, lad. Fight the good fight with me. Anyway, okay, Annalise played the accordion and was expected from well-off families. She took piano lessons. She also studied hard. I will not have to bring home work or any poor grades, her mother said with her usually nervous severity. You are good at learning, and your father and I want to see that in your report card. That was how all parents talked. Yeah, my family. Anna recalled in some notes written for me, Anna often talked about, this is a mother, Anna often talked about Annalise's good grades. She is so good. She will likely become a school teacher someday. She might say to the butcher's wife, who had come up to the office on the second floor of the Micheal house to pay for some planks her husband bought, it's in the family. The butcher's wife would answer, look at yourself, doing all of that difficult bookkeeping. And perhaps the wife of a wine grower from a nearby village who was waiting for her bill for new, I don't know anything about wine. I'm so sorry. Trellise might be listening to the talk a bit wistfully, which means they might be listening to the talk with a little bit too much eagerness, which leads to the gossip. Remember The Crucible, Arthur Miller? Best play of the 21st century. Anyways, He would get up from the kitchen chair and pull up the chair with the cushions for her to sit on, and her opinion would carry on more weight with him than of his parents. She sighed a little to herself as Anna Micheal typed out the bill. It was not hard to see that Frau Micheal had ambitions. And I think that's where Annalise got her ambitions from her father, and the piousness from her mother. Okay? So that's a catch up on Annalise. I found the book. I did my notes. I think that this is a fresh start, lads and lasses. Just smash that button and join me. Take a chance on me, because you never know where I might go. You just never know. I'll see you later on. It'll take me 10 minutes to read those cards. I just need to go get some coffee because it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I was up about 5, showered, got dressed, all of that. So I just like to sit here and talk and talk and talk. Okay, that's enough of me. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a wonderful Sunday. It is Serenity Sunday. And as I always say, be kind to yourselves. I'll continue to do the same. Please do subscribe, like, and I'd love to know what you think of this video, even if it's an insult. Seriously, I don't mind insults. I turn them into a positive. Oh, no matter how I complain about the doctor, and I will go picket in Ottawa by myself because it's the right thing to do. I'm no longer angry. I just do not ever want this to happen to anybody again. That's all. All right. Break time. Oh, I don't like that. That's what Oprah used to do. John Travolta. Goodbye, lads and lasses. I do enjoy this, Bye-bye. Oh, bye-bye.